Whoops, LinkedIn. I asked LinkedIn to allow me to go live on their thing, and they haven't approved it yet. But
Yeah, it take forever.
no worries, it's all good. All right, we're gonna go on YouTube, my personal page, Referral Exchange Network. Let's go about social media. Authentic Real Talk. Got it. All right, so we're live. Okay, I guess we're. Let's do it. Let's wait for a few people to show up. Make sure it's good. Let me put it on your page just to be sure.
All right.
Hi, folks. We'll be there. We'll be there in a few minutes. We're just waiting for a few more people to show up so we can go in and get started.
Do I need to drop it on my page, or are you able to do that?
I'm about to do it, but I think it should be okay.
All right.
And a phone call, of course.
That's all right. You'll hear my dogs in them. Yeah.
No, what kind of dogs do you have?
I have a German Shepherd and a Golden Retriever.
Oh, okay.
And they're really upset that they're not out in the backyard with me right
now. That's funny. All right, share.
I'll put that up over my shoulder here or something.
No worries. All right, I think I just posted it to your page. I don't know if you need to approve it or not, but.
Is it Facebook?
Yes, sir. Cool. All right. I think we are peachy. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello, good afternoon, or good morning to wherever you in the world you are. My name is Ray Salem. This is Authentic Real Talk with Joe Shepherd. Did I say your name right? Shepherd?
Good. You got it.
Yes. He's an entrepreneur. He's a CTO. That's Chief Technology Officer. So if you have any technology information stuff that you have to ask, he's the man. And he's very educated. He has his MBA. That's why he is my CTO for my company. I was like, you know what, Joe? We got to bring you in, and you got to help us go through this awkward situation, this world. We never saw this before.
Yeah.
And trying to help the business owner how to get to the next phase. So yeah. Welcome to the show, Joe.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And I like your shirt. It's really bright. Is that part of the marketing?
No, just trying to. My wife and I have this funny thing that we do by accident all the time. So we don't even think about it. Like, we'll leave the house and be wearing the same color outfit, and maybe it's just because we've been together like 20 years. Like, we don't even notice it. Most time people are like, "Hey, you guys are dressed exactly the same."
And I love the birds in the background, by the way.
Yeah, so like literally, I realized just about a half hour ago she's wearing a bright orange shirt. I'm like, "Of course you are, because we're dorks like that."
It's so bright. I need to put some sunglasses on or something.
Well, it's because I'm hoping to get out and it's a golf shirt, right? So hopefully,
you golf?
Not really anymore, but I do have golf clubs that collect dust.
Oh, really?
These days.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I used to play golf all the time, but not anymore. Yeah. But I definitely want to get back into it. What was your best score ever?
Oh, I have no idea. I just hit the ball and have fun, smoke cigars, and hit the car with the drinks and stuff like that. So.
My dad told me there's two things in life you don't have to be really good at to enjoy.
Right.
He says sex and golf.
I agree with that.
I crack up every time he says that joke. It's funny, but it's cool. All right, we got Debbie here. Debbie, thank you, Joe and Joe Ray. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for showing up.
Hey, Debbie.
All right. So the main question is, you're an entrepreneur. Have you seen anything like this? I know we saw it back in 2008, but is it almost the same, this coronavirus affecting owners?
No, I don't think anybody's seen anything like this. I mean, we've never seen the whole world stop turning. I mean, essentially, I remember in 9/11, shortly thereafter, Alan Jackson had that country song, "So Where Were You on the Day the World Stopped Turning," to kind of commemorate that. And it's like, this really literally did. The whole world just shut down. I don't know if anybody had seen anything like this. There's nothing to prepare for it. How do you, when you're a business owner or you're working with ventures or whatever have you, there's all kinds of stuff that you try to prepare for to make sure you're successful. And who would have thought that you're just going to not be able to leave your house and shut everything down? I mean, who would have thought like the most lucrative businesses to be in right now is fast food, right? It's
That's
like
right.
that. Like they're the ones that are open, you know. So it's interesting.
I got extra 10 pounds to prove it. Believe me.
Well, I actually love it. I've actually lost weight.
Oh,
See, I
oh,
can't go to Mexican restaurants right now, so I've actually lost like 5 pounds.
what are you ordering? What kind of food you been eating?
Oh, my wife cooks, so but you know, when I go to Mexico, my my uh my drug of choice is Mexican food, and I just
It's
especially Tex-Mex here in Texas,
yes,
it kills me. So I'm probably in the best shape of my life right now.
nice. What's your go-to meal? Mexican food?
Tacos. I love tacos.
Really?
It's not a
Oh,
taco. So
oh, for me, okay. Uh, I like Mexican food, but the one thing that it's like my go-to, my fiance just introduced me to it about a year ago. It's a michelada. You know, there's like beer and there's like a mix.
oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I don't know, I don't know, it's gonna taste right. He's like, just try it. I tried it. Oh man, that's it. It's my go-to drink, but I only could do one. I can't do any more. If I do, then you'll be a different show.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because the governor of Texas said when they shut down all the restaurants, they said, okay, well, you can do packaged alcohol sales, right? So I could go to the Mexican restaurant, I could order, my shrimp tacos, and I could get margaritas to go. And this one place up the road was selling gallon frozen margaritas for like
What?
$45. I'm like, you're kidding me. They're not doing it anymore. The governor was like, no, you can't do that. Yeah, you could roll up and get a gallon jug of margarita, like strong margarita, to go with your food. It was crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work out here in California. I know there's some other states that are a little bit more relaxed, but I don't know. But it'd be fun though. It'd be fun to see how it goes. All right, Joe. How long you been an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's even a weird title, right? It's so many people love that word, and I think that what it really means is that I'm just a really bad employee. Not really good at working.
You nailed it. I think you nailed it. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to type it up right now. Hold on.
But I've been doing this. So I left the corporate world, and I used to lead the Microsoft practice at CDW, and I did that for about 10 years or so. So I left there, I think, in like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And, in that world, I was consulting all the time. That's kind of my background. So I used to kind of do this stuff for other companies. It's just I wasn't making the money. My employer was. But then I went in. I joined a company in Phoenix called Zones Media Network, and essentially, greatest company that nobody's ever heard of that we all use. So if you watch a movie on Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, any of those streaming platforms, other than Disney, there's probably that technology, our platform that actually takes the content from Hollywood and codes it, distributes it out to those. So you're probably watching something that our technology has touched. Nice. So I led product and engineering there for almost 2 years, built the team out, launched the product, everything. And that really got me hooked. I loved my consulting days because I like to be able to go in and find a unique problem, work with the customer, build it, do all the fun, great stuff, and then get the hell out. Right.
What was the straw that broke the camel's back? It's like, you know what? I can't work for anybody.
I think it's just, you get so complacent, right? At least I do, right? Like, I spent 9 years in that role. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It was great. The money's good. The benefits are great. I could probably do my job in maybe 2 hours a day, and be successful and kind of ride it out. But you just kind of, woke up one day and I was like, I used to be a software engineer, and I used to be really, really technical. And I woke up one day and I told my wife, I said, this is really unnerving. Like, I'm just a manager. Like, I just manage people now. I'm not technical anymore. That was super, super uncomfortable for me. I was like, if something happens, nobody's going to I'm just like everybody else. And I don't like being like everybody else. So, being unique is one of the things that drives me and motivates me. So I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back and pushed me out of my comfort zone.
No, I mean, almost the same thing. I'm sure I told you this before. I used to be a social worker.
Yeah.
And I was into that work, even though it was I felt like I was trying to do good, but it was a total different culture. Like you're in a world. Let me give you like an abbreviation. What social work is. Social work is basically your worst day in your life, and I'm managing somebody's 15 cases of those together.
Yeah.
And managing multiple people at their worst. And the thing is, even though you're trying to help, they look at you. Sometimes you're the enemy. You're trying to take away my child, and so on. So after like 5 years of getting beat up like this, and I was at this point, like literally, like being burnt out. And this happened. It's kind of a little sad story. A good coworker, she was in the county. She's a county social worker, so we worked very close together. She worked directly with the judges and so on. And every time I needed something, she called me right back. I mean, she had a bubbly, funny. And at that time, she was 38, and I think I was 36. And I tried to call her that day, and she didn't pick up. I was like, oh, okay, she'll call me back. Then I called her the next day, and her colleague picked up. And then she says, like, Ray, I'm so sorry. She went to the hospital yesterday, and she died of a brain aneurysm at 38.
Wow. Yeah.
And at that moment in time, I was like, okay, am I waiting for something like this to happen for me to be okay to walk away from a career and because you got your master's degree into this stuff just to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, you know what? Let me just dive in to something that I enjoy. Authentic Pro was my hustle at that time. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. And I just dove into it. Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. So that was a story. And that was but sometimes it takes something like that to break the camel's back and to break through.
It does, and you've only got one shot, one pass through this life, right? Like, it's tough, right? For me, regret is the
yes
that I face, right? I just don't want to be the guy, and I've got kids and everything, and I don't want them to, when I'm old and on my deathbed and they're all around, I want them to at least have seen that I took my shot, and I want to at least say, oh, I got my at bat, even if I failed. And believe me, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail more than you.
I mean, guaranteed. It's guaranteed. So I'd rather fail at something that I want to do.
Yeah. So you bet on yourself.
Exactly. And it is almost the same thought process as yours. I imagine myself on my deathbed, like, okay, would you remember back then what you did in social work, or you actually went for it?
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur, I mean, it's fun, but also it's extremely hard. And it's and obviously people think, like, oh, you're just a business owner, you just show up. And no, it's every day. Yeah. It's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah, that's the interesting side of it, right? Like, you literally do work every single day, but I'm not going to be the one to sit here and blow smoke and be like, man, this is grueling. It's awful. I hate it. I'm churning out, my 9 to 5. It doesn't feel like work, right? Because number one, I'm doing it whenever and wherever I want. Obviously there's things like this week we launched a major update to our platform, and so it's a lot of work, right? There's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to eat dinner literally as I'm on the computer doing testing. But there's other times where it's it's totally different. So if it's that old thing, it's cliche, right? But if you do what you love, you never work, and that's 100% true.
Yes.
It does suck watching your bank account. Like, most people want to put money in. Being an entrepreneur, you're going to spend it. Hopefully, you recoup it. But yeah, there's no like corporate fallback. There's no 401k and that kind of stuff.
It's so true. It's so true.
But my kids, if this goes bust, I'm just going to live with them.
So it's so true. I wrote that. Do what you love and never work a day in your life. I'm just quoting you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quoting some other much smarter person than me.
No worries. And I guess you're working on a project right now that just launched. What is it?
Yeah, so I'm helping launch a company called Savvy. I don't own Savvy. I'm what I call a venture CEO. So I'm the founders and owners are a couple in Fort Worth. So they're retired. They made they've ran successful businesses in the past, but they ran an equipment leasing company for restaurants, so leasing like ice machines and stuff like that. Did really, really successful. retired, and they're kind of like me. They can't just sit still, right? So they have this idea that, you know, they're older, they're in their mid 60s, and they're like, you know, there are a lot of people our age just don't understand technology. So they wanted to create a company that would provide really delightful on-demand tech support for, you know, kind of the average consumer. So you think about all the things that we have and technology-wise in our homes and our, you know, the number of devices that we carry and the constant updates to that kind of stuff. If you're not born in that generation, it's really hard to keep up with. So we created Savvy. It's kind of, you know, marrying something like Geek Squad to Uber.
Oh,
So
okay.
probably the simplest way to explain it. We allow people to, you know, freelance and do gig kind of work, come on board and just help other people. And then it's a subscription-based model.
Okay.
So your monthly fee, you get a number of support cases per month. And it doesn't even have to be like break fix stuff. It could just be, hey, I just need guidance. Like, we've got people we work with that, you know, during this whole thing, I had a guy that was like, he's like, I really want to cut the cord with cable, but how do I do that and watch sports? So like, you can go to getsavvy.com and we'll actually help you understand those kinds of things. I'll be, hey, this is kind of what you need. This is what,
Nice.
you know,
So who's your ideal client? Is it business owners, consumers?
well, it's mostly consumers. We are looking at supporting small businesses, but predominantly right now, all of our efforts are focused on the consumer. And I think, especially during this time, I mean, everybody's home, right? You think about, we're having to learn how to work from home for the first time, many of us.
Yes.
You know, that's really hard to try to figure out what kind of devices do I need? What kind of, you know, how's this going to affect my internet when my kids are jamming out on Xbox or PlayStation at the same time I do a video call? You know, remember to put your pants on, right? Don't stand up.
You see that? There was a Zoom clip. I guess there were a bunch of teachers, and it was like 9 or 10 of them on Zoom. I don't know if you guys saw that clip. I'll post it down there. And the lady forgot, I guess she was being video recorded or something, and she literally used the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
And there was another one. The guy was like literally butt naked. I was like, dude, you know, you're on your Zoom. You don't even know. Like, yeah, boss, I'm working. Everything looks good. He's like, are you sure? Put some clothes on.
Man, the stories I could tell you, because I've worked remote for most of my career. And, you know, when I was at the media company, half my team was in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And spread all over the U.S. And I mean, I've had people like yell at their kids, and it's like, you forgot to hit mute. Like, you know, throw stuff at the dog and things. It's just like, but I've never seen anybody cruise by nude or anything like that.
I know. There was a principal, true story, and it's not about Zoom. She went on Facebook. I guess Facebook just recently changed their settings, their privacy setting. Mm-hmm. And she thought she was only talking to, you know, her colleagues, whatever, in that Facebook.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, that comment was marked public, that anybody could see it. And she's a principal. There's a lot of parents involved and everything. Oh, yeah. And she said, these kids reminds me of, they carry germs like rats or something like that. Oh,
good.
Yeah, I know. She lost her job the next day.
I don't doubt it.
She was a principal for 20 years.
Yeah, it's tough. And so, I mean, that's a good example, right? There's so many things, and they're changing so frequently. Half the time when I post crap, I'm terrified. Who's it going out to? I know a little panic attack when you put the live stream on my Facebook. I'm like, who's on there? I'm like, all right.
Sorry, you want me to remove it?
No, it's good. I'm just not going to. But I mean, there's that's the kind of stuff that, you know, we actually do help people at Savvy with those kinds of things. You know, hey, well, how do I do this? What is the ramifications of it? You know, Apple's pushing a new update that came out today. What does that mean? What should I be looking for? Because I don't know if you saw the blowback from Catalina, the OS update that came out a few months ago. I mean, that broke a lot of stuff.
What happened?
So getting a little bit on the technical side, but Apple finally forced 32-bit applications where they will not work on the Apple platform. So if you did that upgrade and you had some legacy applications or software that the other companies hadn't updated to 64-bit architectures, they just wouldn't work. So there were things that people were using that they're used to using all the time, just wouldn't even open anymore. And so, it caused a lot of, especially for businesses, because a lot of those old apps, you run a small business or even some of the bigger businesses, they just stopped working on Mac.
No, I know. And obviously the self-driving cars, I'm more for technology, but also at the same time, keep in mind, technology, sometimes there's issues constantly. I think Apple obviously gotten better at it. Sometimes you still have to reboot your phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't work the way it's supposed to be.
I was talking to a guy yesterday out in California. He's the head of recruiting for a company that's trying to do autonomous helicopters, self-driving helicopters.
Wow.
So literally their pitch is that we'll pick you up in a car from your home in LA, drive you to an airport somewhere where we can get the helicopter in, then they'll drop you off on a building in LA, and the car will take you to your final destination. And I'm like, yeah, I think we're a little ways. I'm like, if
you really think about it, airplanes, we've been flying for what, 30, 40, 50 years?
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Right. I mean, yeah.
It's the same.
Well, we were both in the Air Force. You remember what it was like?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Thank you for your service, sir.
And you as well.
Please tell the crowd that what was your specialty in the Air Force?
So this sounds really, really awesome. Aerospace ground equipment technology. Okay. I literally read the job description. I'm like 18 years old, right? And the recruiters, I'm like, I'm going to work at NASA. No, I'm a mechanic. It was cool though. So we worked on, I worked on all the ground support equipment that they use to manage and maintain the aircraft. I spent most of my time on the F-16. And then my last couple years, I was stationed in Missouri with the B-2 Stealth. So the big flying Batwing thing, it's kind of cool.
And Debbie, yes, we can fix your phone. If this guy could fix airplanes, he can fix phones too. No, she asked the question, can you help me with my phone? They're like, I know, it's always breaking.
I'm sure we can. If I can't fix it, there's probably somebody on the platform there.
I know. Oh, there you go, Savvy. That's right. And back to the Air Force. I was a plumber in the Air Force, right? But when I go out clubbing or trying to attract nice lady or whatever, I don't say plumber. I speak my whole my title: utility system apprentice, civil engineering squadron. So guess what I took? Civil engineer. And they were like, "Oh wow, you're in the Air Force Civil Engineering Squadron." Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Until I got another Air Force lady like, "Seriously, what do you do?" Like, "Oh, I'm a plumber."
It's like shit. They got the inside. No, it is right.
So that was funny. So that was my early memories in the Air Force. I miss it. I miss it a lot. I know. Where were you based at?
I was all over. I did predominantly I was in Phoenix. That's where I spent the bulk of the time. But I spent a year in Korea. It's a funny story. It's actually my first base. You went through basic, and you know this. You fill out your dream sheet, right? So for all of those who've never been in the military, when you're in basic training, they give you, it's called your dream sheet. And this is where they ask you, where do you want to go? And you put all the bases you want to potentially get stationed at. Well, I grew up in Kentucky. Never really been to the beach, like once. So I was like, I just want to be close to a beach on the East Coast, maybe Florida or the Carolinas or something. So I put all East Coast to a beach. Then the day comes and we're all getting orders, right? So everybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to Panama City. I'm going to Myrtle Beach. I'm going to Jersey Shore and all this stuff." And I look on my orders and it says Kunsan ROK. I'm like,
"What's that?"
I'm like, "Hey, Sarge, mine says ROK," and he goes, "Ooh." He's like, "You're going to the Rock." I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." And he's like, "You're going to Korea," and I'm like, "What the hell?" I was like, I said I put East Coast on my dream sheet. And he's like, "Well, they gave you half of what you wanted."
They made you halfway.
I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like, okay, so yeah, 18 years old. I'm dropped down in Kunsan, South Korea. Now the funny thing is, it is a beach. There's a beach there. There's actually two. They're landmined,
Okay.
You don't go on them, but there is a beach. So I got to spend the next year staring at the beach
But you
from
can't get it.
a bunker with my M16 in the middle of the night, knowing if I step on it, I'm going to get blown up.
Oh, wow. Did you learn Korean?
Oh, a little. I
I know one word.
can't.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. But
Yeah.
that's how are you? But that's
Kamsahamnida. Thank you. Chumaneos. Oh, you're welcome. I'm probably butchering it. It's been a long time, but
All right, how many of you guys know a second language? I know a few of you are. Myrtle Beach, a lot nice. Okay. Debbie says Myrtle Beach being a lot nice, and I think she needs help with her phone. So you got a customer there. There you go. He'll contact you, Debbie, right after this. Okay. So he'll make it work.
yep, we'll figure it out.
Nice. Well, probably the favorite for the Air Force, at least everybody wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Or
Okinawa
or California. I've never been to Japan. It's definitely on my bucket list. I heard it was beautiful.
Been to the airport.
I'm sorry?
Been to the airport there. That's about it.
That counts? You visited Japan?
Yeah, I flew to the airport in Tokyo on my way to Korea, and nothing was in English back then. So imagine that you're an 18-year-old kid. You never really been out, too much of anywhere, and now your first stop leaving the U.S. is Tokyo. trying to find my way around. I just looked around for like the first like American or English speaking looking person I could find, and then just followed them. I was like, wait, where the hell are we going? So,
well, that's good. Well, okay, coming back to business, like as business owners go through this phase, what's one word or one tip that you would of encouragement that you would tell the business owner as they go through this phase?
Of this specific stage we're in right now with Corona, be creative. You really got to find new ways of doing. There's going to be a ton of guidance and books and all kinds of junk written on this stuff, in the next year. But everybody's figuring this out as we go. So what I'm trying to approach I'm taking is help everybody you can. I mean, that's utmost and foremost. Nobody's making any money right now. Nobody's making any major moves, or unless you're in a really unique position. But where you always have the opportunity is the opportunity to help other people, whether it's other business owners or people that are impacted in some way or another. Put that at the top of your priority list. That goes a long way. That karma will come back to you. So if you can do nothing else, help others right now.
Wow, that's awesome. You know what? Well, okay, my customers, the retailers. Like Clothes Mentor, Plato's Closet, a lot of them temporary shut down.
Yeah.
This
is tough for big boxes.
Yeah, and they're getting creative. I was brainstorming with another gentleman regarding what's the best way. What if they did like a drive-through? And Plato's Closet and Clothes Mentor, they're retailers. They sell high-end merchandise, like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, you name it. So they're not. They're a retailer, but the government told them to shut down. Even though they're open, nobody's going to go in there to buy it. So nothing. Right. So we're me and him were thinking, like, what if they did it like a drive-through, and they could post up pictures online. They could come by and pick it up or something in that nature. Like, all I'm saying is, if you put your marketing hat on, what tip would you give the retailers at this moment? If you owned a store that sell high-end merchandise, how would they market it, and how would they sell, and how they can get through this?
Well, where your customers are at, right? Marketing is all about channels and how do you reach those customers for an effective price point. You know where they're at. They're all at home. So you've got to find a way to get into that house, get to reach those people virtually. There's not going to be any opportunity here for the time being to go out and have that physical face-to-face. So, online stores we're going to see a lot more of them. I think this whole situation, and I was just talking to my neighbor about this the other day from different sidewalks, so social distancing. I think this could be the nail in the coffin for the big boxes. Some of them are really struggling. We look at the malls everywhere now that are trying to fight for their future in this online e-commerce world. A lot of these big boxes are going to struggle, and they're going to have to think of new ways to do this stuff.
Well, like Best Buy, about a couple of weeks ago, they have a drive-through. I mean, you pull up, and you tell them like, I want an iPhone. They're like, okay, what kind? And they'll get it to you to your card, and they have the transaction. They got creative.
Yep.
And and I get it, because you got to be creative, like you said. I'm sure you remember Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Not long ago, they closed.
Yep.
And believe it or not, it's $1 billion brand. Why did it close? And it blows my mind. And it really came down to they really did not change. They didn't get creative, like you said. I think they knew they owned the toys market. This is what they did. This is the biggest mistake they did. They gave Amazon all the toys for them to sell for them. And now all of a sudden they're retailers and they're selling at a retail, and Amazon obviously at a discount. And literally, but they didn't adjust, even though they knew it was a wrong answer. They still didn't adjust. They just kept literally heading to a brick wall.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping a lot of big box retailers, they adjust, like you said, get creative, figure out a way. Okay, let's say you're the CEO of Toys R Us. What you would have done differently, knowing now what happened?
I think the problem with Toys R Us was that they didn't evolve into an experience. I mean, if you're going to have a brick and mortar store for kids, right? It's toys. Mm-hmm. You got to make it some sort of experience, right? There was a little place when I was growing up that I think it was called Johnny's Toys. Mm-hmm. Like they just did this silly thing. Like every year for your birthday, you get an envelope in the mail with a little key, and you go into Johnny's Toys, and in the center of the store is this castle. And you unlock the door and you go get to pick a toy out, right? But you wanted to go to Johnny's Toy. You waited all damn year for that little key to show up, and it didn't matter that the toy probably was, something you get out of like a little bubble gum machine. It was something simple, right? So it's not like it cost a lot of money, but that was ingrained in my memory growing up. And I always thought about that when I thought about Toys R Us. I'm like, you got to have something to make it an experience. Buying toys for your kids is just, but if you got a way for them to go in there and experience the toys or play with them or something like that, you make it something more of that emotional connection. And I think that holds true for all marketing, right? I mean, I'm definitely not a marketeer. But when I think about good marketing, you know it when you see it, and it creates an emotional reaction or response in a person. And that's what makes it memorable.
Yes.
Being able to reach out, if you're Plato's Closet, you got to get creative, go find a way to reach out to those customers where they're at right now. They still want your products. Like the commerce hasn't stopped for that. They may not be able to afford it right now, but find new pricing strategies. Maybe people can't afford that Louis Vuitton right now, but they still want it. So find new pricing strategies. Get into, when I was a kid, they used to have layaways and stuff like that.
Yes.
I want that. I'm broke, but I still want it. We can pay you over 6 months or something.
I think that's a genius idea. What if they gave credit to consumers if they come into the store, regardless of credit, and they'll put it on layaway or whatever. But let's say you have a Louis Vuitton bag, okay, hypothetically, and a lot of ladies, that's their dream to have a Louis Vuitton. It's a status symbol, and you just got it like a $50,000 a year job. You're not there yet. Right. You still want it. So you go in there's like, listen, I want this Louis Vuitton bag. And you as a retailer, let's say this bag, your cost of margin is like 50%. If it's $1,000 bag, your cost is $500. So you ask them, like, okay, you can have it. You got to put a deposit of $500. So at least you cover your cost.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to value it so much, they will make their payment. I would say 90% of the time, especially if you give them that credit.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah, there's things like that you can do. I mean, we don't look, the world of business and revenue is tight for everybody right now. Mm-hmm. So walking out into the world today, expecting the same margins you were getting before all this, it's just not there, right? Like back to my original statement, if you can do nothing else, help someone. Mm-hmm. Like if you're making 50 points on something before this happened, and you can make 20 points and pull that down right now, do it all day long, right? Like take it, because you're probably not going to get those margins right now. So it's okay to do that. The other thing I would do, honestly, and this is super cheesy, but sometimes cheesy works, is all these people are really concerned about this virus and how long it stays around on things. Mm-hmm. I mean, and Ray, I would put your stamp on this all day long. I would find some way for these stores to authenticate that they have sanitized and that product is COVID free. Think about it. Here's your Louis Vuitton, and it's going to be delivered in a hermetically sealed little package for you that we've cleaned it up and that there's no issues there, and it's valid. Things like that those kinds of things may be important to people going forward, right? Because
it will, especially for the next 6 months.
More are prevalent.
The next 6 months is going to be, wow, that's good. All right, I learned something new today. I like that.
Got to get creative.
No, absolutely. Okay, well, let me give you another one. A lot of business owners, most of like restaurants, especially if they're not tech savvy. I know you said they're doing very well, but if they're not set up for tech savvy, they're behind the 8 ball right now.
Yeah, it's tough. You gotta, one of the traits of being a good entrepreneur is being able to pivot quickly.
Yes.
I mean, there is no downtime, right? Downtime's money. And that's other people's money, not just yours. That's their livelihood. So when this thing shuts off, you got to find a way to get it coming back in. So you got to be fast. A lot of these restaurants that I would say, I live in this community in North Dallas, and I'm telling you, man, like before this happened, I could get on Grubhub and we had like one crappy pizza place that would deliver to my house. I mean, there was nothing. And I mean, I'm north of Frisco, right? So we're in like the Frisco, Plano, just north of there. So there's a lot of restaurants around, but there was hardly any of them that would deliver. Now I get on Grubhub and they're everywhere. I can get anything in the world. I had fresh sushi the other day, and the only reason I didn't have it delivered is I just wanted to get the hell out of the house for a few minutes. But people walked around like they would have drove it to me. So the restaurants they're reacting, they're responding intelligently to this quickly. So it's not just a reaction; it's a response. So I think that's good. But other businesses too. I've got a buddy who owns a gym in Orange County. And of course, that's really hard hit, right? So he had to close the gym, and he was kind of panicking, but he's, serial entrepreneur. It's not his only business. He's a smart guy. He started doing video. He bought Zoom for all of his personal trainers, and they're doing video personal training out of their houses. And he's like, he signed up like 700 people.
Wow. Wow.
He started throwing marketing dollars at it. And he's like, I make more on the video than I did on the gym subscription. It's like $20 a month. I mean, so it's opening. If you stop, and it's hard to do because you're going to panic, right? Like the natural thing to do is panic and just be like, oh my God, how am I ever going to do this? But if you stop, take a deep breath, calmly look at your options, there's tons out there. You just got to get creative about it. He found a whole new revenue stream that more than replaced what he was going to lose.
That is so awesome. I love stories like that. No, absolutely. So did you change your business model before the virus? Because I know you just recently launched Savvy, right? Did you change your model, or you just kept on the marketing?
No, we actually kept right on it. We didn't have to change our model. The nice thing about what we do is because we do provide on-demand tech support, and we always kind of were targeting the consumer. So I think about like my mom or my dad or my aunts, uncles, grandmother, or any of them. We've all got them that they call you up and they're like, hey, can you help me? My printer won't work, or you can't get Netflix to come up. My account's messed up. We all get those calls, right? So that's our model, is to provide help for those folks. So the rest of us, can get on with our lives, and maybe we can't help. Maybe I can't help my dad or something like that. Have another alternative for them to go to, instead of sending them to the Apple store and they got to wait in line for 2 hours or something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
And actually, we've seen we just launched version 2 of the app this last week, so 2 days ago.
Oh, congrats. Okay.
So, yeah, super cool. So, and we're actually seeing an increase in demand, which kind of was a little scary because we're relatively new. But because everybody's home and you're home all day and you're having to figure out new ways of working and all this stuff. The good thing I will tell you is that I spent 9 years I used to lead the Microsoft productivity group at CDW. So my team's whole job was helping companies learn how to work remotely. So if you've got questions about remote work, what you need to get it to, make it successful or anything like that. That used to be what I did all day long, every day. So.
Wow, that's awesome. All right. Well, what's one last thing, or I know we covered it, but what's one last tip or one last thing or a word of encouragement you'll tell the entrepreneur or the business owner while they go through this? One last thing. If it's just, you can leave them just with a couple of words or 3 words of encouragement.
Yeah, I mean, words of encouragement, everything fades to the past, right? I mean, everything that we're doing, right, going through right now will be gone. It'll be a memory. I mean, so just don't get too hung up on it, right? Try to find some solace and peace in what's going on. As far as, just entrepreneurship in general, right? A lot of people going through this the first time, trying to build a company, build a product. It's super easy to get distracted and get taken advantage of. There's a lot of called accelerators out there and agencies that are, they're waiting to take your money and your equity. A lot of them are. They're not all bad. I've been through a few of them, and some of them are really, really good. Some of them are a train wreck. Some agencies are there just to, back, like I said, that margin thing, right? So be smart with your money. It's, sometimes it's all you got, and it's what's got to get you from where you are today to where you want to be. And in my experience, that always takes twice as long and costs twice as much as you originally think.
This is so true. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
For your encouragement, sir. And stay safe out there.
Absolutely.
And if you're ever down here in Southern California, we definitely have to do lunch.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's just been a lot of time down there, so I'm sure I'll be back.
Okay. Awesome. All right, sir. You have a blessed day, sir.
Thanks. Take it easy.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, Yam. Thank you, Vanessa. Debbie, he's going to reach out to you. So, okay. All right. Thank you so much. And you too, sir. All right.
Yep. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.